welcome to my channel. I'm Tatiana Renee.
And I'm Jordan Ashley.
And we are here to talk about beauty in the Bible.
We're also going to do a get ready with me.
Yes.
We're going to put our face on
it
symbolizes beauty. It's a beauty ritual that we all do. So yeah, we're just
have all our products in front of us.
Yeah, both, I guess, talk about like what we think beauty is to each other.
Yeah.
Or how we see beauty today, even in society.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think? Like, or how did you come to the realization of what beauty is?
I feel like growing up, you like see how your mom handles beauty, like what she does. So growing up, you always see that in the household. But then I think also like on television and magazines, there's always some kind of beauty standard that people feel like they have to follow.
Right. Yeah, I think the first magazine I ever purchased was back when I was in middle school. I think that was like the youngest and that's kind of like how I sensed what beauty was. Mm-hmm. Of course, like before that, I saw like my mom and my grandma, like they would get ready. Like my nana and my grandma were avid like fashion clothes hoarders. Like they were like when it came to church, they would be dressed to the nines. Like, and so that's like my first take on kind of beauty, like dressing your best. It makes a good impression. That's what I was always taught. Mm-hmm. And then like I bought my first magazine. That's kind of like how my perception of beauty changed. Just because I saw like, oh, this is how society views beauty. Like, you know, like kind of less clothes, you know, wearing, and just like a little bit more provocative. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how society has portrayed beauty.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's kind of how I view beauty.
Beauty is definitely different in the Christian culture versus like secular or, you know, whatever kind of culture, like where, you know, Christian culture is a lot more modest, and you know, growing up you had to wear tights and you couldn't wear dresses above your knees, and there was a lot of things that you were just not allowed to do.
Now, because I know when I grew up in church, there were certain rules, but they were like unsaid as far as like beauty goes. So, like, is there any rules you remember, like specifically that, as far as clothing and makeup, like?
I think my biggest one was, and I went to a Baptist church first as opposed to like the church that we both grew up in.
Right.
And I think there it was like you always had to dress up, and you know, there was like a lot of like, I don't know how to explain it, like people wore the church suits, the church outfits, the church hats. You know, and you couldn't wear your skirts, couldn't be too short, like they had to be at a certain length, probably under the knee. And there was just like a lot of like stipulations, I felt like, on what you could and couldn't wear. And I think that when we switched over to the Foursquare church, and not saying that they weren't the same, it was just that you had a little bit more freedom of what lenient. It was more lenient of like what you chose to wear. I mean, you still had to be modest and appropriate, but it was almost like you didn't have rules on what exactly you had to wear. Yeah.
I think I kind of grew up always in a non-denominational church. Mm-hmm. They were a little bit more lenient, but there were still some unsaid rules, like you said, the skirt below the knee. Yeah. What else? Like, make sure your cleavage ain't showing. Right. So yeah, I mean, those were the ones. And then I don't know if this was necessarily a rule in the church, but I know I couldn't wear makeup until like high school. Like, and even the makeup that I was I could wear was mascara. Mm-hmm. Like, that's all. Mascara and lip gloss. Like,
it's like you could wear. I think growing up too, my mom was like, "Oh, you can wear not lip liner, but eyeliner." But that's it. Like,
like just like
don't
minimal.
Even try doing anything else.
Right. And then there was in high school all the purity conferences, and from that, I just like the church kind of taught me that beauty kind of extends even more beyond makeup and fashion and all that. They were always emphasizing how, you know, it's really on the inside. Like,
right.
Beauty comes from the inside. That's all I remember. Like, beauty comes from the inside. And so I will always remember the scripture, the one that's it would say we're fearfully and wonderfully made. That scripture I think that's the most scripture that it'll stand out to me all the time, like always. Just hearing that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And I just think that scripture just kind of reflects how the beauty is on the inside and how we're made in the image of God and how we are to try to be who God is, be who Jesus is.
I think that growing up, they always wanted us to make sure that we knew who we were first before we tried to do all the things that we saw everybody else doing. Right. You are more than what people, assume or think that you should be. Like, you're more than that.
Right.
And it's important to realize, and I think that I value the fact that we went to those conferences.
What do you think about the scripture, we are fearfully and wonderfully made?
I think it's a good reminder. Yeah. Only because I feel like sometimes we could get in these kind of not depressions, but these just bouts of where you feel so low about yourself that it's important to remember that God created you the way He created you on purpose.
Right.
And there's nothing accidental about who you are or what you look like, or that sometimes we just have to embrace what we look like and our beauty. And sometimes our beauty is not always skin deep. It goes deeper than that, and that's what I really appreciate about this verse, because it helps us to realize that, I'm still, important. There's still something about me that, God obviously wanted on this earth. It wasn't that, it wasn't to be beautiful and popular and all of that stuff, but there's something in me that people need to see.
Right. And I feel like, I think that's one of the reasons why it'll always stick out to me, because especially as a young person, it's so easy to get into all these societal trends, and you get so depressed and down because you're like, well, I don't look like that, or well, I don't have that to look the best or the trendiest. But it is a great reminder that you are who God wanted you to be. There's no mistakes made on you.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like it's a good affirmation to speak over yourself every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes beauty can just be too expensive.
Which is why I don't wear makeup often, because I'm trying to save my coins.
Save your coins.
So, there is a verse that says that we are created in God's image. Okay. And what do you think about that?
I feel like it's a great affirmation kind of verse as well. And it's also a great reminder how you are I feel like it connects to the scripture, we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Just because, God is the ultimate beauty standard anyway. You should aspire to want to be like Jesus and be like God. And so I don't know, but then like you said earlier, you said that you had questions about what that really means to be in the image of God. And I've always took that scripture as I've always thought being in the image of God, of course, is more of a spiritual thing. The traits of God, how he's kind and he's a hard, he's thoughtful. He's, just the different traits who God is. So.
Yeah, I think I always took it spiritually too, but today I was just so if we're made in God's image, does that mean physically?
Right,
or
physical body?
spiritually, I'm trying to, figure that out.
Right.
Because I need to know. Do I look like God?
I always actually used to think, like, it's like there's billions of people in the world. How do we all look like
right?
God?
Like, he must have a million faces.
Right.
But you guys should answer that in the comments. What do you think about that? Do you think that we are created in God's image physically, or are we created in God's image spiritually?
Or even both. That? Like, maybe we're just we all take a piece of. They say we're all God's children. Mm-hmm. So if we're descendants of God and being His children, means in some way we kind of look like Him.
Right.
But then again, God is a spiritual being.
Exactly.
So do you look like Him spiritually or physically?
That is the question. I want to know.
Right. Think of that verse.
I don't know. I just think that it makes me feel good, because then it's like the days that I feel down about how I look or how I feel inside, I could be like, okay, well, I'm created in the way that God is. I'm created to look like Him, to be like Him.
And He's beautiful.
Right. However He looks, whatever He looks like, He's beautiful. So I'm like, it doesn't matter like how I feel. To God, I still look beautiful.
Right.
So I really like that verse, definitely.
Yeah. I just feel like nowadays it's just so easy to like get down on yourself or just like look at social media and just feel otherwise. How do you think God feels about like makeup and like clothes and like, do you feel like, because I don't know, I can't really see in the Bible time. Well, I know they had their own fashion and trends and stuff. Yeah. But I don't think God really, like, he really needed that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that, I definitely think they were like more, like, way modest. Almost like, it seems like, in all the movies that you see,
the Bible movies,
they watch like a lot of, they covered themselves like from the
head to toe,
all the way down to the floor, and it's just like, wow, that's dedication.
Right, that is
because they lived in the Middle East. I know it was hot,
man.
I just every day I just be like, were you not hot?
Right.
I don't understand. I don't get it. But I don't think that, because I feel like even in those days they still had some kind of product or whatnot,
right,
that they used on their faces. Like, I don't feel like
different oils.
Yeah, I feel like they still had some kind of like beauty standard that people, adhered to and that they used to kind of, I don't know if that makes sense.
Right. My question is, how did they maintain clear skin and they didn't have all these products that we have now? Like,
man,
like
water. They probably drink a lot of water.
Well, I feel like it was either water and wine. Like, those were the only two options back in the Bible.
Right. No, for real though.
Like, what else were they drinking?
Maybe they. Actually, that's.
I feel like they didn't have apple. I don't think that was discovered until years later. Apple juice and orange juice.
That is a really good question. I never actually thought about that. Wow.
Who knows?
We need a theologian,
right,
to
come
answer
on
that
this
question.
Right. That would
what
be
did
helpful.
The people drink other than wine and water?
Or maybe that's all.
Was there juice? Was there not juice?
Was there some type of pop that wasn't called pop back then?
Right.
Something like that.
What was it? We would like to know. I'm pretty sure you guys have studied that. So please tell us. We want to know.
Right.
But I don't think that God hates makeup. Like, I don't think that he's opposed to it or anything like that. I just think that he's just like still recognize that you're beautiful without it.
Right. And that's like a great reminder.
Yeah. The part part 2 over at Jordan Ashley's channel. The link will be down below, so please click it and go to our part 2. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the post notifications, and we'll see you in part 2.